justice for all.
Tonight there is a public hearing for the Village of Washingtonville Planning Board. Public comments must be specific to the 61 East Main Street project. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Public comments submitted in written form were distributed to the Village Planning Board members for review and consideration. The next Village Planning Board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 11th at 7 p.m. in the Village Hall unless otherwise noticed. At this time, we're going to take a break for a brief executive session with council.
Mr. Chairman, I was just going to ask, I should have spoken, do you want to adjourn that for one of the other 2 board members or that? Because it was the topic of general discussion of the meeting, or?
No, I think we
We can do it twice?
we should have.
Okay, no problem. No, it's just. So just take a motion to go into executive, and then.
You take a motion to go into executive session, please. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
And for the record, the purpose is to confer with council, and there will be no vote or action taken, and it's not to discuss a specific project.
Hey, John, can we keep this running?
Pause it.
Huh?
I guess it doesn't hurt.
Okay, all right, okay. Those lights are all inside there, behind the door, I think. No? Okay.
Mr. Terry?
Hi. How you making out? Good, good. Probably get fired in a week, but who knows? I'm doing fine. Physically, I'm good. Mentally, I think I'm good. Other things, I don't know. So, no, doing good. I'm going to get a panoramic view here. How are you? Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I don't know what's recorded. We'll have to see. I'm not worried about it.
She said they're looking for a place in Newburgh in 5 years.
I just recorded everything I said. Sure. There's nothing there. Okay. You can, okay. You can sit there if you want.
Oh, I remember. I said it one time. You're one time.
Got you again.
Oh, don't do No, I just did that. Don't like the way it tastes. next Tuesday. Anyway, it turns out that I'll just
Like she said, there's just not meeting needs because, so they want to you want to know
does certain things that are like next to the base, like right, it was like that. This guy said there are prescribed I can't stand
I like the
I don't know what that is. I can't stand it. But like I don't take my things aren't. I think there were 2 classes this morning. I would get used to having one have the convention. Like, no, think about how afraid I am. Just go. Just have to. Don't worry about it.
Because now, hotel,
What is a branch committee? What does that mean? Davidians? Really? David. Oh, no. Oh, no, that's not even. King David. Julia. I've gone to yoga and then come here. But it's like, it's fun taking the two things in. He went into his water and put his paw in it. He like scooped all the water out. All over the floor. Then I went and I got the paper towels and I cleaned it up and took the paper towel. Then he ran around chewing on the paper towel. And so I took up, I got a tree. They gave him the tree, so he put down the paper towel, put the towel down right by his foot, start the tree, and then like beat the paper towel. Oh, I was surprised at him. He's crazy. He gets it, you know, mad. It's like chewing on my sleeve now. I think I took my arm out of his sleeve. I held him down. He can't because he takes my sweater. I have on a coat and then the sweater on my coat. So I had to take that off. And then he just went for this. Like there's a person. So here is lyric.
There are two. Right, especially with the signs. Mr. Chairman, that would be a motion to exit executive session and just confirm that no action was taken.
I make a motion that we end the executive session. Aye.
Aye. Okay, executive session is closed. Thank you very much for your patience. Next up, we need to accept agenda, the minutes from the 14th of February. Looks like a long time ago. Need a motion for that?
Excuse me, do you have the microphone?
I do not bring it. I'll try and speak up. I apologize. Need a motion to accept the village planning board meetings from February 14th.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes from the February 14th meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't remember.
Okay, next item up, we need to accept the adjournment orders from 2/28 and 3/15/2023 for 61 East Main Street public hearing to be held on 3/28 at 7 p.m. And we canceled those because of inclement weather. Need a motion, please?
In order for me to hear you, I have to sit there.
Okay, I make a motion that we, sorry, Bill.
So accept the adjournment orders.
Accept the adjournment orders from the meeting of, what was it?
Public hearing 61.
2/28 and 3/15 for 61 East Main Street public hearing.
Second. Vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next up, we have discussion, applicant James Casaza, subdivision, lot line change, section block and lot 118-1-1,
So we can hear you.
118-1-3, 121-1-1.1. Good evening, Mr. Casaza.
Good evening. At the previous meeting of the planning board, you referred me to the ZBA for a variance for a lot line, an existing lot line in which there's a shortage of space for setback. We went to the ZBA meeting. The attorney for the ZBA indicated that because the larger lot that we're taking a little slice from borders the town of Blooming Grove, and after consultation with the planning board attorney, a joint referral to the Blooming Grove was prepared and I believe submitted by this point, one would hope. Also, you referred the matter to the planning Board of Orange County. We're waiting to hear back from them. And finally, because the planning board here has declared themselves to be the lead agency in a coordinated review, the planning board attorney, the ZBA attorney advised the ZBA that they could not take final action until the planning board acts. However, they did take a poll, and it was unanimous to grant the variance. So they've sent me back here, awaiting action by the planning board for its final review, so that the ZBA can take an official vote. Now, I'm hoping that Ms. Cassidy, who's the attorney for the ZBA, has been in touch with both the engineer and the attorney here. And if not, I will email Ms. Cassidy and ask her to advise planning board counsel and engineer so that everyone's on the same page.
My understanding is that we were supposed to make a secret determination, is what I understood?
I think that's what they're saying, a negative declaration before they
Yeah,
can.
everything Mr. Casassa stated as far as procedure is correct. So you sent, basically to the ZBA as a preface, and they conducted a straw poll to give you an inclination as to how they might vote pending secret. So now you have that information in order to be able to move forward. This, I believe, happened while I was away. There was a public hearing on this matter.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so that would be your next step.
Okay. So we need to
So
set.
today you can vote to schedule the public hearing.
Okay.
We'll send notice of that public hearing also to the town of Blooming Grove. And at that public hearing, like any other public hearing, you are gonna listen to
Our
comments.
next
and-
meeting is the 11th, and I don't know if that's enough time to get this done, or should we make it the following meeting, which I think is the 18th? I want to make sure we have the proper time to get the
Yeah, the
notice out.
code, I believe, requires a 7-day lead time for publications in the paper to notice the public. So let me just take a look at. I do have one. The 11th of April is your next meeting?
Correct.
That means the latest this could be published in the paper is a week from now, April 4th. And the Times Herald Record, in order to run on a Tuesday, it's due by Friday at 3 p.m. So as long as I get your added, then you'll be able to, I will get your added.
Okay,
You okay with that?
that's fine. And then that way there will be in the paper, and the meeting will be on the 11th of April.
Yes,
Okay.
you will have to entertain a motion to set a public hearing for this project for April 11th at 7 p.m. or as soon as thereafter as it may be heard.
Okay, I need a motion for a public hearing, please. This has a lot line change for April 11th, 7 p.m. here.
Okay, I make a motion that we have a public hearing on the Piazza lot line change on April 11th at 7 p.m.
Second, please.
Second.
Vote, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Casaza.
See you on the 11th.
Okay. Okay, do we need a motion to open the public hearing?
Yes.
Motion to
I
open.
make a motion that we open the public hearing for 61 Main Street.
Vote.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, public hearing is now open for 61 East Main Street, LLC, site plan and subdivision, lot line change, section block and lot 114-1-3.22 and 113-2-31.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Morgante. I am the project engineer for this application that's before the board. I'm just going to need a moment to get set up while I speak to the board.
Was your tablet okay?
I don't think it's on there.
three, the input's three. If you can get a menu up there.
Should just turn on.
Start flashing.
All right, Mike, why don't you start, and then we'll see if we
Yeah,
can get
see if we can work
Thank
into
you.
that. I have hard copies if we need also.
And just an FYI, I handed out copies of the Orange County Department of Planning response and your response to that, to the public.
There it
Okay, so, a few months ago, last time we were here at this point, there was a few things that we needed to still accomplish as a part of this application. One was a referral to emergency management services, and the second was a referral to Orange County Department of Planning. Both of those referrals were successfully done.
I'll just to correct the record, it was EMS,
Fire,
fire department,
And the police.
and the Washingtonville Police.
Yeah,
All received referrals.
Apologize, when I say
Just wanted
EMS,
to
I
be
kind of mean all those under
Yes.
one umbrella. So we did receive some comments back from the fire department. Their comment was to install hydrants within the site. They had noted that they thought there was only a hydrant across the street on East Main Street. That's inaccurate. There is currently shown right now one hydrant within the site. It's centrally located in the island that separates the two buildings. If the fire department would like us to add additional hydrants within the site, we take no exception to that. So that can be noted for the record.
And Mike, did you get a copy? The police department also, the police chief
That's
commented also?
Correct, yes,
Okay,
that's my next response.
great.
So we did get a letter from the police chief, and they had some concerns as it related to parking. They had some other concerns also, but I'll start with parking. So their concern was that we just didn't have enough spaces, that during any type of family events, or if there's additional parking required for visitors, that there would not be adequate spaces shown on the site. So we went back to the site plan and took a look at expanding the parking on the site. So what we were able to accomplish was to create a little circular driveway in the back right-hand corner of the site that would actually access that lower elevation behind that furthermost parking space. We were able to get an additional 29 spaces back there. Let me repeat that, that's 29 spaces, which is 50% more than we currently have shown. So now you would have an additional 29 spaces on site that would adequately cover any functions that would occur on the site. Those same spaces during times of inclement weather could also be utilized as a snow dump. If that's not enough, we have additional snow dump area behind those additional parking spaces that we've got shown. It's up to the board how they'd like us to proceed with that. We can show that as what we would call shadow or banked parking at this time, to be constructed in the future if needed. I've spoken to the applicant, they take no exception to constructing them at this moment, and actually preferably might like to construct them at this moment. So we were able to address that comment from the police chief. They were requesting a sidewalk for access behind the buildings. We are in 100% agreement with that. This board had actually noted that before we got that comment from the police chief, so we are fully on board with that and we'll provide that. And then there was a matter of the ingress and egress of the site, and they had made a general comment if the DOT had looked at it, if Orange County Planning had looked at it. The answer to those questions are yes. We have prepared a traffic impact study that was very thoroughly reviewed by the DOT, this particular board, and the county itself. And we have come up to the conclusion that there's no significant impact in terms of waiting times for exiting and entering the site. So that is kind of a summary of the fire department comments and the police chief comments. We also then received comments from Orange County Department of Planning, and we have actually provided a written response to this board regarding such. And I can summarize those. So essentially, they had a concern with flooding on the site as well. They had mentioned to be careful, we need to be at least 2 feet above the designated flood zone for the site, which is 307. We are at elevation 313.3 with our first floor elevation for both buildings. So we're 6.3 feet above the recommended elevation for the flood zone. That's 3 times the amount that's required. So we feel that we've met that comment above and beyond. They took a look at our stormwater pollution prevention plan and essentially endorsed it. They saw that we were providing an infiltration system. It recharges water back into the groundwater system, takes care of a lot of runoff reduction issues. So, so that was what we had received as a comment for that. The upgraded traffic control devices required by the New York State DOT, they took a look at that. They seem to be in favor of that as well. Again, that's something that was offered by the applicant, and the DOT agreed to it. So we take no exception to that. And by the way, these are binding comments, by the way. So these are binding comments that are issued by the Orange County Department of Planning, so we have to address them. And so far, we've done that as a response to their comments. They asked us about the crosswalk from East Main Street onto our site. We're well into the process of designing that with the New York State DOT. We take no exception to flashing beacons, striped crosswalks, ADA accessible sidewalks. It's just that it's in the DOT's jurisdiction. So whatever they want from us, we will certainly give to them. If this planning board thinks there should be something in addition to that, contact the DOT and let us know. We would be glad to try to provide whatever that would be. And their 4th binding comment was lighting design for the project. This is probably the easiest comment for us to address. I would suggest to this board that we could work that out during final site plan approval, but lowering heights of lights, changing the color tones of lights, things of that nature, relocating them within the site to address any lighting concerns, that can easily be accomplished. We will certainly work with the board on that issue, and again, take no exception to the comment. Then there was the matter of a few other additional comments here that were, I guess, recommendations or suggestions, not necessarily binding comments. One of the comments was that the village consider a dedication of the parcel that's on the other side of the Munda, in the back, that's unusable to us. As opposed to a dedication, which will require us to go to the ZBA, then get a variance for a density waiver and so on and so forth, it seems more amenable that we would grant you an easement back there. We can certainly work that out with the board, however they would decide us to move forward, but an easement keeps it cleaner. It removes the need for us to go to the ZBA for an additional variance, for a density variance, even though most likely it would be something the village would work with us on, because it's to the village's benefit as well as the county's. It just streamlines the process if it's an easement as opposed to a dedication. They also asked for a footpath from 94 to reach the Munda. We can certainly do that. We can provide an easement along one side of the property or the other. 5-foot wide access easement. We probably would fence it in so that any people accessing that Munda would not wander into our site. But again, not an issue. We can certainly address that with the village planning board as a part of final site plan approval. And a restriction on construction times to protect bat species. We have no exception to placing that note in the plan. It's a standard note that's placed on every site plan in terms of the entire county, not the state. We would be glad to do that. That's not an issue. They had a comment on historic resources. We have long since submitted a project consultation to State Historic Preservation Office, and they responded back to us that this project has no effect on anything archaeological or historic as it relates to this site. Landscaping, it seemed as though they kind of endorsed our landscaping plan and they liked it. And we can work with the village on any other issues that might arise as we work towards final site plan approval. And again, the parking that they asked for also in the back, we were able to accomplish that additional parking, and we're able to do so without placing any additional fill within the floodplain. So we have been able to, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, if our mitigation levels were a 5, we were probably closer to a 10. We've gone above and beyond our mitigation measures for this project. We've provided 3 times 50% more, just to throw some numbers out in terms of what's been required and what we've provided. We feel that we've thoroughly and accurately addressed all the concerns of both this board, the public, and the other outside agencies. That pretty much concludes my presentation today as it relates to what we've accomplished since we've been here last.
Thank you. Board members, Jacqueline, do you have any questions for Mike?
Yeah, I have two questions. The first question was,
Did you motion to open the public hearing?
oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I was asking, did we do a motion to open the public hearing?
Yes, before Mike started.
Okay, good,
We're good?
we're good.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
go ahead, Jacqueline. Thank you.
All right.
Sorry for interrupting.
So my question was there any study of how raising the elevation would impact the neighboring properties?
Yes, we've been asked that question many, many times.
Yeah.
So the fill that we're providing on the site is actually outside of the floodplain. So the floodwaters do not even reach our fill. So there's no impact that our fill would have on neighboring properties. The flood zone line is shown accurately on the map. The limits of our fill is shown on the map, and you can confirm that by looking at the plans to see that that's the truth.
Okay. My second question is, did we get an official statement or in terms of the water usage and sewage?
Yep, I spoke to JCL. I have to double check my emails. I believe they sent me an email as well. I cannot recall if I forwarded it to the village. But there is adequate, actually there's an abundance of excess water capacity and sewage capacity within the village at this time.
So we will get something in writing?
I can certainly provide that if I didn't already.
Okay.
I did see correspondence from the water and sewer departments basically saying there's plenty, there's more than enough. They didn't have specific numbers, but I did also get copied on Mike's request for the specific numbers. I haven't seen the numbers yet, just the confirmation that it was adequate.
And I thought I had sent it, that was a while ago, so we couldn't pull the report.
No.
Question regarding the easement or the dedication and how that all works. Is that something that's
Speak up,
normal?
please.
I have a question regarding the easement that was proposed by the Orange County Department of Planning and how that actually works mechanically with the village. Is there any risk to the village? Who maintains the property?
The easement with regard to allowing,
To get access from Main Street
property?
Yeah.
to the piece in the back.
I'm just rereading the comments, I can refresh my recollection. Because there's also a dedication with regard to the
The rear
park in the
parcel.
front, right?
Mhm.
And the rear parcel, so this is the third easement that's being requested, right?
Correct.
Am I,
But none of those have been finalized.
no,
But those
absolutely
are the
not.
items
That-
that
I'm
are
just
being
making sure that
discussed.
I'm talking about the right easement.
This one with the Orange County Department of Planning is a new
The
new
third
thing.
one being asked. Well, it would work the same way as any, as the other two easements that are being requested. Actually, the first one is a dedication, so I'll say that the back one is a conservation easement, so that would allow for no further development of the property. And this one would just be a simple access easement, that would be the maintenance of, they would maintain the property and we would just be
Using it.
using
All
it.
right, so they maintain it, we use it.
Right.
Okay,
They're the burden parcel in providing the easement, and they'll maintain ownership of it.
okay. And that's all the way to 94, back to the rear parcel?
Yeah, so that's new. I would like to see what you would propose for the, obviously that would have to be finalized as part of the site plan.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah, my initial thoughts are just an easement along one or the other side of the property line that goes all the way down to the root to the best that we can show.
so Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you have, that would definitely be within the board's discretion if you have a preference as to where you would like to see that easement.
I'd like to see what they propose first.
Okay.
Because, we don't want them to incur any additional, a lot of excavation or whatever way is easiest will probably work, and then we can review it.
Additionally, the county letter is asking that the rear land area of this parcel be dedicated to the village, which would not be owned by the applicant, not maintained by the applicant.
That's what we had talked about. There's
You want-
the option of dedication, or there's the option of an easement.
Yeah, Mike, they prefer
They
easement.
originally proposed an easement, the county is requesting that you consider a dedication.
Right, but which one is better for the village, I guess is my comment, or my question, which works out better for the village in terms of maintenance, finances, et
So in order
cetera?
to accept, either the easement on behalf, in order to accept a dedication, that would be a function of the Board of Trustees. So that would ultimately be their decision as to whether or not they would want to entertain a dedication of that back parcel, or if not, then we would have to move forward with a majority in order to override the binding comment and make it a conservation easement. Does that make sense? So the county is asking that we do a dedication. So you as the board are gonna presumably defer to the county and go with a dedication of the back parcel. If that's rejected by the Board of Trustees, then you would have to, by majority, ask for a conservation easement. That would be my advisement on how to move forward.
Actually, I think it's three is not binding, is it, or it is? The trail access
It would be
was
a
not-
it would have to be a super majority in order to override the binding comments. The front half of the first 4 comments by the county, they found that there's a potential for intermunicipal effects from this project. So therefore, their comments are binding, meaning you need a supermajority of your board to override any of their comments.
And that's the county recommendations?
County, yeah, for 1 through 4.
They left out 3 on the back page, though.
Hold on. The floodplain management and resiliency, the traffic, trail access, and lighting.
They don't list it.
Oh, well, 3 is definitely in their section of.
It's up, I saw that, it was
Yeah,
up
I would-
there, but then they left it out on
We
the
can
back
ask to
page.
clarify, but I would definitely defer to that being part of their
Part of their
binding
binding.
section versus the advisory section.
So the substantial difference, if it's dedicated to the village and the village takes ownership, it becomes village property, and the village can do what they want with it. Whether that become a future park, be connected to the rail trail, or just left in its current condition. It would be the village's decision. If it becomes a conservation easement, it will basically just dictate that that land can't be touched, other than possibly stream maintenance or that type
And
of.
ownership would retain with the current, with the owner and any future successive owners.
Okay, now does that decision lie with this board, or can this board talk to other boards? And
So.
You can make recommendations.
Right.
Okay.
The orange, I just want to be clear, the county Department of Planning has made their determination as a binding comment to you that they are asking that that land be dedicated to the village. You do not have the jurisdiction to accept a dedication, that lies with the Board of Trustees. So if you would like to refer it to the Board of Trustees for dedication, we could go that path. And then what they do with it will dictate how you respond afterwards, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Or you can, I mean, that's what I would advise.
So do we make that determination to send it to them now, or would we?
No, I would make the determination now that that's how you want to proceed. You want to defer to the county and go with it being a dedication.
Okay, well, again, in reading this, assuming that it's binding, then.
Yeah,
what do you
and you
guys
wouldn't
think?
even have the votes to override
let's-
that tonight.
What do you think with respect to sending it to the village board to review?
I thought that's where we would be going with that anyway, since the Board of Trustees is the one who makes that decision. And then we don't have the other 2 members.
We can't override it tonight, anyway, so we can table it.
If they, yeah, so, and if the Board of Trustees doesn't want it, if they don't want it,
If this board doesn't want it dedicated, then they still have to go to the board of trustees.
No.
Just vote for
yeah, but
one.
they can't, correct.
Not tonight.
Yes,
If you don't want it as village property and you want to stick with an easement, you can do that. You just need 4 board members to vote that way. Obviously, you can't do that tonight. But if that's your opinion, you could wait until you have the supermajority present so that you could vote 4 members that, no, we're not going to adhere to this requirement of the county.
And I would actually, I think our position would be that because the county do not actually list it as a binding comment at the end, there should be some clarification from the county planning whether that was actually intended to resolve the apparent ambiguity in the letter, because it does affect the voting requirements. So that if the county planning intended 1, 2, and 4 to be its binding comments, then it can say to this board that that was our intention as we stated at the back of the letter, rather than, listing them in the
that's true.
beginning.
We
That-
can reach out to the county.
we could ask for clarification, because it is an ambiguity in
There's
the
certainly
letter.
a path forward.
Either way, it's either gonna be a conservation easement or a dedication to the village, pending exception by the Board of Trustees.
In my opinion, I'd still like the opinion of the other boards, so.
Yeah,
Send it.
same.
All right, so I'd say we send it to them now, We'll get an opinion.
Well, do you wanna ask for clarification from the county whether or not it's a binding comment first? Or do it all at
Yeah,
once?
that makes sense to me.
All right, we'll wait for the binding
Okay.
comment. Or wait for the county to respond, and then we'll send it to
I can
the
reach
board.
out to them,
All right,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
no problem.
All right, so that takes care of that part. I think I'm good on questions right now, and I guess at this point, we open it up for public comment. First up on the list, please.
Susan Walsky, 24 South Street.
Good evening, Board. A couple of things. First, I'd like to request that you keep this public hearing open, that the members of the audience have an opportunity to review these two documents that were handed to us tonight for further comment. My other comment is that although the applicant has addressed parking, number one, a reminder that our code says all parking is supposed to be behind the buildings. The applicant has also not addressed EV spots in accordance with New York State's green energy and zero carbon initiative. There should be some EV parking available on site. In regards to the traffic study was done in 2022. I would like to remind this board that the Washingtonville Central School District was still on a hybrid schedule for 2021-2022 school year. Therefore, the traffic may not be a correct study. My last comment is that the applicant wants to put arborvitae